I might be here alone for a little bit. So I'm not worried because this is brand new. And the funny thing is, even before today's Facebook thing, I was contemplating this is where I would go live instead of Facebook because Facebook is so wonky sometimes. And my classes I now am going to do through YouTube with private links so that no one will know except the person that has paid for the class. But if you subscribe to my channel, which if everything is going well, it should say that on here. Let's just see. I'm just looking. I don't see it, but let's hope it's there somewhere that you can subscribe. I'll look for it later. But anywho, it's going to look really similar to YouTube, to what we do on Facebook. It's just going to be in here. So I may be alone tonight, which I'll be okay. But you can come back and watch it, and I'll post it into Facebook later if it's letting us. But I just didn't want to trust that it was going to work for us tonight. Okay, so what's going on? Tonight is Embelly night. And Embellys are sweet, itty-bitty little SVGs that work for card fronts. Remember, we all were stamping up, still make cards, still love them. Yeah, that's us. We do some scrapbooking now and then, but our cards are still here. They didn't go anywhere. So I wanted to make a card that was different than just something I could do with my trimmer. Hey, Lori, yay, you found me. That was different than just what I could cut with my trimmer, squares and triangles and maybe some punches, maybe some die cuts, but I wanted something a little bit different. So I designed Embellys, and they have a cute name because I think they're cute, but they are basically embellishments. Embellishments for the front of your card, embellishments for a scrapbook layout, a tag. You could even do them out of heat transfer vinyl or iron-on if you, or regular vinyl if you feel like you want something unique and different. And you can add to them easily. So tonight we're going to add to them. Let me get over where I belong, over here, like 18 screens going. And here we are in Design Space. This is tonight's free Embelly. Now remember, I said they're free on Monday night, but you got to grab them. Hey, Marion, how are you? Welcome. Glad you found us. So they're free tonight. Tomorrow they will be their high price of $1.50. You know, I know they're really expensive anyway, but I make them free on Monday night. So this one is free tonight. If you want to look for it, let me show you how to find it. Okay, so if you go into the store, you see where it says Shop Now? And the store is right at karamiller.com. And then just click on Simple SVGs and then Shop Now. And scroll down. See where it says Embellys? Click that. And there's the free one right there. And I made it tonight with the date and everything so it's easy to find. Grab that one. That's the one we're going to work with. Okay? Good, good. How did everybody survive without Facebook today? Was it creepy? Well, it kind of reminded me that we can't put all our eggs in one basket and we can't just only go on Facebook. We need to do more than one thing. And the funny thing was I had really planned to do this originally, but I was going to tell you on Facebook so you could find me. So anyway, we're here. Okay. We are here in Design Space. This is the free one for tonight. And remember, some of the things that you need to think about when you bring these guys in. They come in grouped, and they're either ready to stamp or ready to add your, ready to let Cricut do some writing. I love, 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 love the Cricut Joy when it comes to making cards. And I'll show you why when we cut with it tonight. It goes so fast. Now, if you already have a Maker, a Maker 3, an Explore, you don't need to go out and buy a new Cricut, if you don't have one already, a Cricut, the Joy is a great one to try. It's little, fits right on your desk, it doesn't take up a lot of space, it's easy to work with, it has itty bitty little mats, so it makes it super simple, and it writes. So it writes and it cuts. It doesn't do like print then cut, or it does do the foil, but it's a little limiting. It doesn't have the power of the big ones. But for cards, it's awesome. Now it comes with two different kinds. It comes with a card mat that I truthfully am not a huge fan of. The card mat is light blue. I'm trying to get it out to show it to you, so I'm fumbling over here. I think I have one. Nope, I don't. Let me keep looking. There's more. But wait, there's more. Here's the card mat. This is what the card mat looks like, which is kind of funky. It's made so that your card back goes under here, and then you can do some work on the front of the actual card. Cricut's designs are not Embellys designs, they're different. And so the card goes in here, right, like so, already scored and folded, and then this pulls around. Now if you look at any of the files for the Joy, you'll see that they have you cutting out something on the front of here and then tucking a different color behind it, almost like making a stencil on here. Okay, that's cool, but that's not how I do mine. So we start with card bases, and if you look back, you'll see I put together a short little video over the weekend on how to make your own little Embellys kit so that you have everything ready to go when you are ready to make some cards. Everything's pre-cut. It looks, and there's a handout in the blog too, like this, that tells you how to cut your paper and what you need to do. All right, so if you didn't check that out, be sure that you go look and you'll find it. Tonight, we are going to cut this guy. Now, a couple things when you look at your design. They come in grouped, like so, and they also have a backing that's kind of like the back of a puzzle. So I'm going to ungroup this and show you what I mean. So here is where we're going to write or stamp or put our sentiment, whatever that is. Here is one of our layers. Here is another layer. And then this is kind of your template that tells you where everything goes, because we don't want you to have to fumble. All right? So this, I tend to cut out of a darker color or contrasting color. Now, if you noticed in the kit, we talked about starting with, and again, it was a Stampin' Up! Pack of paper. Any other packs of paper work too. It doesn't have to be Stampin' Up!, but that's what I happen to have here. And it tells you what the colors are. So I have my pattern paper, and then I have, these are the colors that were on the back of the pattern paper that it told me that I needed to coordinate. So I have some Whisper White, because you always need that for that stamping spot. Cherry Cobbler. Need a little more white. I've been working with these all weekend. Some soft seafoam, soft suede, crumb cake, and then here's our designer series paper, right? All right. So the reason I like doing this is I can kind of put my card together by just looking at the papers before I do it. So remember I said I have to have that background. Let me see if I can show you both of these at the same time. Instead of me, maybe I can't. Anywho, I'm going to want the base of the card. And this time I'm going to go with a Cherry Cobbler for my bottom. So that's the gray. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to change that because it's going to make it easier for me when I set my paper up. When I go to the cut screen, I'm going to see how I need to load it. So there's that. Then, whoops, let me go back here. I'm flipping too quick. Then this comes in here, right? And then you go right here. So I'm going to use a pattern paper for the pink. It's not going to be pink. And I'm probably going to use another cardstock for this. But let's go look and see our options. So here's my base. My pattern paper is going to be, let's go with this one. Well, either side. I like both sides, but I'm going to go with this one. So that's going to be next. So then I need the piece that's going to go down here. Well, I'm going to look over here and see what I have. I could, because I tend to be matchy-matchy, I could just go with another piece of this. I am going to be bold and brave, and we're going to go with our soft seafoam. Another option, if you're not freaked out about the colors, you could go with this, but it kind of tells you what you're looking at. This is the Christmas, painted Christmas something. But I'm going to go with that for tonight. And then I need my white. I don't want that one. I want the white. I want a half a sheet of white. Okay, so there's my papers that I'm going to need to cut. All right, so let's go back into here for a second. And we're going to say go ahead and make it. And Design Space is going to send me over to the mats. Now it's going to ask me, what kind of mat are you going to use? Remember I said this is the card mat, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go with just the simple little mat. It says without a mat, and you're wondering, wait, what? That's if you're using a smart material from Cricut. I'm not. Some of their vinyls, they already have a backing to them, so you can use that one. Multiple ways means that you have lots of different stuff. You have a card base, you're going to use this card one, you're going to then switch to this, and then maybe to that. So that's why you would use this. I'm going to go with the basic mat. And we're going to come in here and notice the first thing it wants me to cut is the white. Look over here and you can see it goes white. Oh shoot, I didn't change the colors. Hold on just a sec. We want to make this easy. This one is going to be our soft seafoam. Okay, and this is going to be the pattern paper. I don't want to leave the pink because that's kind of funky and weird, but I guess that'll work. So that's how that's going to go. I'm going to say make it. Now it makes a little bit more sense. Any material, done. And we're going to start with the white one. I'm going to see if I can do this way. There we go. All right, so here's our machine. Now notice it wants me to start with a white one. So I'm going to take, these are not Cricut mats. These are from Amazon called Real Light. I'll put the link below here of where I got them. They're way less expensive and they work great. I've used them in the bigger mats for a while and now I found the ones for the Joy. All right, so we pop it in. Say continue. And it's connecting to the Joy. All right. I'm going to pick medium cardstock. That works for all your machine, all of your items. Notice over here though, I have the option to go with a little bit more. So if you know that your Joy struggles with one of these papers, you'll get to learn them. You can tell it a little bit more pressure, a little less pressure. All right. And I'm using the same medium cardstock for everything. And I'm using all Stampin' Up! Papers. So now it wants me to load it in. I just bring it here and it grabs it. And it's going to check. It's going to make sure that I have enough material on here to do what it's trying to cut out. And I do. So it's happy. And I come back over to the screen and I tell it to go. Now it's going to think about it and it's going to go ahead and cut it out. Right? Easy enough. Okay, then I tell it on the screen, unload. So there's no buttons on here. But how quickly did that work? So there's my white layer. Then it wants my red layer, my cherry cobbler layer actually. And I'm going to put that down. So what I'm doing right now is the ready to stamp, right? I'm going to show you how we're going to let Cricut draw in a minute. Hi Diane, you made it. welcome. Good, good. Make sure you're stick. But notice how quick this is. Seriously, I'm just so impressed. This is why I love the Joy. No, if anybody asks, no, I don't work for Cricut anymore. I'm not a product expert with them or anything. I'm just a happy Cricketer. So there's that layer. Now we want the green, our soft sea foam. Now, I could set this up if I were using one of the bigger mats. I could set this up with the different colors in different parts of the mat and probably do it with one load. I could. I just find this so much simpler. So when it's card making time, which this time of year it is, this little baby sits right on my desk and it's ready to go. Super easy, super quick, right? And I unload, and I have one more to go. And this is this one. Right? Pop it in. You'll notice that I rub up here sometimes. Because you're using the same portion of the mat all the time, sometimes that corner gets a little wonky. And it just needs a little extra help to make sure it sticks. And because it's right in front of you, you can kind of make sure that it works okay. And we're done. Card is cut out. We are ready to do our decorating and designing. So here's what we have. Right? There's our cards. Now, what works great with this is to add your inks. Do a little bit of inking on the edges. Looks awesome. I'm not going to do that tonight because I also want to show you something else. So we're going to put that down. Then this little baby looks great with some ink along the top as well. I tend to ink with the same color, but you could do the gray, looks really cool. It depends on your look, whether you like shabby chicish or country. And then I'm going to take this is my card base that I made in my kit. I have a bunch of these. These are on Amazon, and Marion, I will put the link after. When I get done, I'll put the link in there for you. You can probably search for them. And there's different companies that make it. Like, I was trying to see what my other one was. This other one, my big one, oh, that's a Cricut one. But there's other names of the same thing. They're all from a foreign country, I'm sure. But they work good. All right, so here's our card base. This is it by itself. So I have this, and you're going to go here, right? Now, if that's too much white for you, well now, remember, this card kit has all the other designer series paper that goes together, right? So this might look cool back here. If the white's too much, you might decide, well, you know what, I really want, and they're all coordinating, so I could get away with it. This is all from the kit that I showed you how to do earlier on Saturday. So that could go like that. I kind of like that. All right, so if you decide that's what you want to do, this is where your trimmer comes in because it's one line. If you did the kit that I suggested, your designer series paper, I'm getting that paper out to show you. That designer series paper is cut into 4x6s, right? So to fit on the front of your A2 card, you need a 4 by 5.5. So all I have to do is cut off a 1/2 inch. I could do it with the Cricut, but it's so not worth it. It's just one snippety snip. It's not worth all that time and energy just for that. Whoops, you went back here. So then I'm going to put this down on the front of my card. right? Notice this fits when you don't let it drop. This fits really well when you cut it right. In my rush, zippity zip, I did it wrong, sorry. It's 4 by 5 1/4. I haven't done this in a while. That's why I love Cricut, so I don't have to think about it. 4 by 5 1/4. I'm surprised no one yelled at me. Okay, so now it's going to fit much better, right? It's going to give us that little space all the way around. Again, this will look really cool with some ink on it. There's that. Now, what I like to do with these is kind of put this together first and then add some dimensionals when I put it on here. So you're going to go here nice and smooth. Oh, I like that side too. It's hard to choose. All right, and pop this right on. I don't have to measure. This baby is going to go right here, but it's going to go with a dimensional or two. Am I all out? All right, we need a new pack. I did make a lot of cards this weekend. I'll show you what we did. So there's 2 ways to get these Embellys. There is a class in the classroom, and I'll show you that in a sec, in case you need a refresher on Design Space with the Joy. It's the same. It's exactly the same as Design Space on with an Explorer or a Maker. So if you know how to do it there, you are good. You don't need the class. If you want the class and some fun Embellys that I'm going to show you made into cards, you're going to want that one. But if you just want the Embellys, you can get just the Embellys in the SVG store. I feel like it might be a lot of running around, but I'll help you so that you don't get lost. So there's that. Now this is going to get stamped on, and it's going to go right here. For that, I'm going to pop you down. You can add ribbons if you like. This is where you go wild. You do whatever you want. I tend to be a clean and simple kind of girl. I don't like a lot of stuff on mine. But some of you get a little crazy, and I love it. So this lets you, if you have been with me for a long time, you know I want to teach you how to do stuff, but I want you to make your own design. I don't want you to feel like, well, she didn't put it there. She put it over here. You put it wherever your little heart desires. Now notice this cherry cobbler goes the same size as my backing. The reason for that is I could go down here at the bottom with no border. I could go in the middle. I just want to make sure that my Embelly does not get taller than my card. So I'm going to line this up at the bottom with just a little bit showing. All right, there's my card. Now, again, depending on you, that's about as much of mixed patterns as I can live with. It's a little even more. So what I might do to make myself sleep at night is I would use this same back here. I'm not a real big mix with patterns. You're going to look at the cards that I'm going to show you in a minute and think, yeah, right, you used a lot of patterns. I did because I was trying to appeal to people that might like lots of patterns, but I don't always. All right, so we're going to stamp, and I have a couple of Christmas stamps sitting over here that I can use. You want to find your Christmas stamps with small sentiments that fit on here nicely. You can combine things, like this is a stamp. I could combine that with a sentiment. So let me show you what, if you're thinking, you know what, I think I might want to, I want the Cricut to write. I don't really see one that I like. All right. The beauty of the Cricut is that you can make it fit whatever you have. So let's go back here. Whoops, sorry. We're going to go back in there. And we're going to say finished, because we are for the moment. And now we are going to work just with that circle. That's either your stamp or your writing place. So I'm going to take these guys and turn them off because I don't want to cut those out again. We already did it, right? So this is all I'm dealing with. I'm going to go in here to Images, and I'm going to do a little searching. First thing I want to do is I want Draw Only because I want the Cricut to do some writing, and I'm going to search Merry Christmas. Yes, I know it's October, but I'm using Christmas paper and we're going to try. So now these are just sentiments that Cricut wants to write. And I'm going to look through till I see one that I like. I had one in mind. I think it's this one. Let me just double check. It might be something else. There's so many options, right? You could be here all day picking one. But I'm going to go with the easy one. I'm going to pick that one. And I'm going to say add to the canvas. Now remember, all I have left in here is this circle that you're thinking, well, that's pretty tiny. I know, but Cricut can do it. So we're going to shrink this down even a little bit more. We're going to select both the circle and the sentiment. And I'm going to tell it to align, get over here, center. So now that's right in the middle, exactly where I want it. But notice we're getting this kind of warning sign over here. It's because when I picked this, it told me a specific kind of pen that the Joy can't write with. So I'm going to need to change it. Notice it's got a question mark. It's one of the pens that fit into the regular Cricut. Different ones fit in the Joy. So click on that and just pick any color. It doesn't matter because you're going to put what you want in there. And notice that warning sign is gone. All good. I'm going to select this. I'm actually going to slide you down a little bit because I have something in mind. So I don't want it all the way at the top. I want it down a little. I still want it in the middle, but okay, I want it down there. I'm going to select and I'm going to say attach. And now we're going to make it. So now it sends it over to the make it screen. I don't know what it's called really. I'm going to click on material for any map. That's what it's going to do. Notice it wants a pen and a cut. Now let's look at our machine for a minute. Don't unplug. You'll be really unhappy if I do that. Okay. So when we come over here, we only have one holder. So that means I'm going to need to swap. There are specific pens that go with the Joy, right? And they say Cricut Joy right on them. But again, I'll put this link later. I also found this little baby on Amazon, and there's every color you can imagine, and it was way less expensive. They're not original. They're not official Cricut pens, but they fit. And what I like about these, I'm going to go with a darker green. They don't have the names like I'm used to, but we can match them. But they have a itty bitty point and a thicker point. See the difference? There's a real fine point and then a regular point, like a marker. I'm not going to use that because I'm writing really tiny. So we're going to take this out, take out our blade, pop in our pen. Notice your blade has a magnet in it, so it sits right there. It doesn't roll around the table. Now I need my mat and that white. This is the piece I used before. I'm going to pop that in. Now I'm not using this one. This is the one I cut already, but I'm not using that. I'm going to tell it go ahead. It's got to reconnect. I will. These are great. I'm really happy that I grabbed them. I really wasn't sure, but I've used them a bunch and they work great. All right, so it's telling me to load the pen. I did. It's going to check, make sure that I'm right. It's looking. then I'm going to tell it, okay, go ahead. And it's going to do its writing. And again, you're right here. So things can't go wrong. You're right here. I love that it's within hand's reach. It's not on a table over there. It's right in front of you. And yeah, I still have room to work. It's not taking up all of my space. I still have, you can see my desk. I still have a lot more room, right? So while it's doing that, it's almost done. These are some of the cards from the Joy bundle or class. This one, right? Really different designs and shapes because we don't want your everyday Christmas cards. This one and this one are the very same Embelly. Look how different they look when you use different paper, right? These are colored in with these markers. By hand, I did that. The machine can't do that. Okay? All right, so before you go further, take this pen out, put the cap back on, then take your blade, pop that in, which the Design Space is telling you, and say go, and then it's going to go ahead. Now it's going to cut this out. Right? So simple. Now, if you were going to do 100 of these cards, you might want to do this on the bigger machine. But if you're going to do different and unique ones, then you don't need the big machine. You just need this little bugger. And you could put different sentiments. Now, the reason I went down lower is because I have the cute little holly leaves. This is on Whimsical Trees. And I have this itty bitty holly that I'm going to try putting up at the top to kind of tie it in with the paper. And I don't know if it's all going to fit, and I don't know if this green is going to match. You know what? I don't feel like it is. That green does not look right. And I won't sleep tonight, so I'm going to go with my gray. I should have probably done it the other way and done the writing in black and the leaves in green, but you know. And then I'm just going to get this. I don't want it on my mat. Let's see how this works. Yeah, perfect. See how that, whoops, can you see how that goes? Right? Super cute. And then I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals on the back. And my card is ready. Now I could stamp on the inside too. So if my sentiment had fit on there, no problem. But if it didn't, then I can make Cricut go ahead and do the writing. Now, if I didn't really like these little jewel snowflakey things or spark, I could have said no to those. I could have picked a different one. But do you see how cool that is? Right? And really different cards. Now, if you wanted to make a card, I have some other style cards coming that will be money gifts, but they'll still be Embellys on the front. We'll be working on those throughout the month. So Embellys are here for the month. We're going to be playing. There is still the scrapbooking class if you liked September and you want to see what October has to offer. That's open now. Where are we? This is what's open in the classroom right now. This is October. This is the Embelly class I was talking about. It's a Design Space class and Embelly files. Those cards I showed you earlier. They're all right here. If you think, yeah, okay, I got it. I know how to I know how to use Design Space. I don't need that. I just want the cards. Then, I don't know exactly the order that they're in, but trust me, they're in here. Oh, right here. And this is just the card files. So if you think, okay, I want all 5 of those, I love them, they're all right there. Okay, cool. All right, so have fun. Let's get some cards going. I'm hoping that this worked. I think I'm going to stick with this, and then we'll just share it to Facebook later. But if it's, just subscribe to YouTube so that you make sure that you don't miss it, because Facebook has been wonky, and I have a feeling it might be wonky even more. So have a great